Secretary Rubio hosting officials from more than 60 countries in Washington today to spotlight the growing threat of left-wing political terrorism.
Far-left political terrorism is not a recent-day modern novelty. It is not a fiction manufactured by conservative politicians. For most of the modern era, it was in fact the dominant form of political violence. Every one of our friends here from the nations of the Western Hemisphere remember the decades of kidnappings and bombings and assassinations and executions.
Also in attendance, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sounding the alarm, pointing to an attempt on his life from an alleged far-left extremist.
I was the subject of an assassination attempt February 2024 by an addled left-wing activist 2 hours after being sworn into my job. So any of you who want to report that this is a fiction and does not exist, be there for the sentencing this August.
Joining us now is Government Accountability Institute Executive Director and Vice President of Research, Seamus Bruner. Seamus, it's very nice to see you tonight. Secretary Rubio said left-wing extremism is a blind spot in counterterrorism. I thought that was an interesting way to put it. What do you make of it?
Yeah, hey Brian, hey Dagan, great to see you. Today was a historic day. You had over 60 countries participating in this summit. And this shows the administration is showing real leadership worldwide because of the growing problem of radical left-wing violence. They say terrorism. I would agree. In Germany, in Italy, in Greece, you've got fire bombings and shootings and assassinations perpetrated by Antifa groups. These were designated by the administration. I applaud them for that. And there are links spanning all across the globe that shows that this is something that needs to be taken seriously. I'm glad Secretary Bessent was there. That shows a very important fact. Follow the money. Right. The Treasury Secretary is taking this seriously.
Talk about the money. Is there a thread, a link of money flows between these Antifa far-left violent organizations from country to country? Because here in the United States, you would think that there would be some way to, Treasury Secretary Bessent would be able to shut down that flow of money and go after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know they're working on it. A grand jury has been impaneled and is looking at the Neville Roy Singham connection. He's working with the Cuban military intelligence to train activists, radical, violent activists down in Cuba. They're giving them Marxist revolutionary training. There was just some leaked audio that came out of a Party of Socialism and Liberation Zoom meeting where they're talking about overthrowing and smashing our constitutional republic. That's a Singham-funded entity. He's living in China. Over $270 million have come from the Singham network into our network. And then when you look at these really, really radical Antifa groups, I mean, it's hard to track money flows because they do not have like a 990, like an IRS form that you can look at who funded them. But they do have all kinds of mutual aid, basically give, send, go or GoFundMe type outfits. One of them is called Open Collective. When President Trump designated Antifa a terror organization, all of the Antifa groups all over the world, in Canada, in the US, over in the UK, they changed their name from Antifa to something else. So that's how they get their money.
You know, Secretary Rubio got all these countries together, okay? And he's knocking heads together and saying, we need to get on this, we need to do something about it. Do these countries care as much as he does or President Trump does? Because my fear is if and when you get a different administration in this country, all of those countries are going to say, well, we tried, didn't happen. Let's go back to the status quo and the left-wingers get to do what they want. Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility. I mean, when the left is in power, they kind of look the other way on their radical groups. I mean, famously, Kamala Harris was funding the bail funds for the BLM rioters who are burning down cities. So I think that's the same case overseas. But you look at Greece. I mean, they just had a politician who had family members killed by one of these radical groups. So there are certainly groups within these countries who have suffered from the violence caused by Antifa and its affiliates.
Seamus Bruner. Thank you so much, Seamus. Great to see you, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dagan. Thanks, Brian.
Straight ahead, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck, right? Apparently not if you're a far lefty, flip-flopping liberal.